This is Paul Mackey, an Idjit who until recently had to work 2 jobs to keep on making it, leaving precious little time to watch television and even less time to write podcasts about television. That was it in a nutshell right there. Medical debt from a number of incidents last year. Everyone's okay, only the debt was a lasting side effect. Therefore, my day job, plus many nights driving the car in the gig economy, left little time for anything else. Frankly, as well, the experience moving from that 80s show into a new direction didn't leave me inspired either. A lengthy show recap without co-hosts did not work well for Roswell, and the first episode of Marvel What If was not something I even really cared to write a recap about. It really didn't grab me. I chose those shows due to my perception that they were popular, and generally easily to watch along with, assuming people had access to stream them. Lastly, I let the schedule lapse, though that one is partially included in the first part. I launched this podcast as part of a daily challenge, but after that I went from a challenging schedule to no schedule. Moving forward, I think I'll be flexible, but set an eventual goal of 2 episodes of the podcast each week. We'll see if those settle in as a particular pair of days, but I'm not setting them down ahead of time, and at first it will be a single episode per week. After Dog Days 2023, anyhow. Then I tried reconnecting to my usual FTP upload point, and took a month finding out I was misconfigured, keeping me from signing in. And then it turns out there's a corrupted WordPress server that's outside my control. So I decided for now to create the episodes via YouTube podcasts. This much you know, as it's likely where you're listening, and if it's still 2023. Hopefully sometime after Dog Days I'll have a working WordPress server to post to, and all these episodes will be released in the actual podcast feed. So, going forward, I plan to watch 3 shows. The lengths and episode counts work out more coincidental than by design. There's a long series with long episodes, a somewhat shorter series with short episodes, and a short series. I plan to keep that 3rd slot reserved for other short series going forward, and we're a longer way from needing to plan for the fate of the first 2 slots. I intend to watch them in a continuing rotation, with possible exceptions for 2-part stories. I'll not be writing long plot summaries, but stick to the format I established with that 80s show, a brief synopsis, followed by other recurring topic points specific to the show. That means episodes of One Idjit's Thoughts will probably continue to be shorter bites, rather than hours-long podcasts. So, I suppose I should announce what shows I'm talking about for the foreseeable future. I'm going with personal interests instead of looking for the biggest crowd pleasers. I'm not ruling out going back to Roswell in the future, but after that pilot episode podcast, it's staying on the back burner for a while. I need to figure out if it's possible to fit it into the shorter format, perhaps. But let's not get sidetracked. I will be watching The Rockford Files, Gravity Falls, and the Canadian series Men with Brooms. That's not a mix you're likely to see elsewhere, I suppose. I will wait until the official launch episodes for each of those series to explain where my interest comes from. I hope these will be entertaining whether or not you're able to watch along. Oh, and in case you're looking for the original fiction component, I won't rule it out. However, continuing Really Big Things was more of a whim when I was looking for content during Dog Days. Jeremy has future adventures ahead, but as I once explained to Jack Mangan, Really Big Things was already a later part of a story that I hadn't started to tell. I need to begin at the beginning, and I'm not sure if the story can or should be presented in a manner similar to the short-form experiment that was Really Big Things. This episode marks the moments before the start of Dog Days of Podcasting 2023. I have waited until ready to launch and have the first episodes of these series in the can to give me some buffer. My master plan behind the scenes has me now established in a permanent recording space where I speak to you presently, in the back room of Measure for Measure Tailoring and Alterations on 4th Street in Duluth, Minnesota. Second step of the master plan is to relaunch the podcast. If you're hearing this, that step has obviously been reached. There are subsequent steps on the master plan, but I'll leave those a secret until I'm closer to achieving them. I better get to watching, so I'll let you go with a happy hunting. You have been listening to the One Idjit's Thoughts On podcast, produced by Paul Mackey in association with QuadrupleZ.com. Theme music is Too Good by Jack Mangan and is used by permission from him. If you would like to hear other podcasts by me, you might try the Ghostlight Podcast, a completed introcast about the TV series Slings and Arrows, or Idjit Cast, an introcast for the TV series Supernatural. Both can be found on fine podcasting listening software everywhere or at quadruplez.com.